Hello and welcome. You are watching the Marblecast, and in today's video I will be making my beginning of 2023 Marble team tier list. Actually, it's less of a tier list and more of an alignment chart. I got this idea from Thesaurus Dinosaurus on YouTube, and I'd also like to thank JMR_Jelle for creating this alignment chart template with all of the teams. First up, we have the Balls of Chaos. Now, the Balls of Chaos' most recent performance in the 2022 Marble League was awful. It is record-setting for the least points total in the league ever, other than 2016 when the point system was very different. Now, the Balls of Chaos' recent results have been, as expected from them, chaotic. There's no other way to put it. Their previous appearance was in Marble Mania X, where they also placed dead last on a surprisingly low amount of points. But they've also recently finished 4th in Marbula 1 Season 3. So this team, while a lot of up and down has happened with them, I would probably lean towards underrated right now because they were so bad in the Marble League. But I can't really give them a good rating on this chart, so I'll settle with about here for the Balls of Chaos. Next up are the Bumblebees. The Bumblebees recently received the honor of hosting the 2023 Marble League. The Bumblebees are most known for merging with another franchise, the Hornets. Now, I believe, contrary to a lot of opinions I've seen, that this was good for them. What the two teams combining did was take the best members from each team and put them onto a single team. And it showed in Marble League 2022 when the Bumblebees were surprisingly good. They were in the top 5 for a long portion of the league. Unfortunately, they didn't finish very well, but that performance in the 2022 league was their best so far, and I can only see good things happening for the Bumblebees. Of course, this is Marble Sports, anything can happen, but I will be placing the Bumblebees about here on the chart. We have the Chocolatiers. The Chocolatiers are one of those teams that always seem to make the league and proceed to not do a whole lot with the opportunity. The Chocolatiers' best league finish was 7th in 2021 after the last event, raising up from 10th. The Chocolatiers are one of those teams that always seem to do well in qualifiers enough to make the league and just kind of exist in the league. I'm going to need to see a lot more from the Chocolatiers to give them a better rating. However, everyone really kind of knows who the Chocolatiers are, so I don't think they're exactly overrated. I don't think they're a bad team by any means, but the Balls of Chaos have had better finishes. They've also had worse finishes, but the Chocolatiers have also had their share of dwelling in the basement. This placement for the Chocolatiers is about where I will keep them. Next up are the Crazy Cat's Eyes. The Crazy Cat's Eyes, the team that dominated Marbula 1 Seasons 2 and 3, and the team that can't seem to string, that's a tongue twister there, the team that can't seem to string two good halves of seasons together. The Cats have had great performances either in the first half of seasons or the second half. Most recently, in 2022, they had a pretty strong start and fell all the way down to 11th. They also had a very large scare during qualifying, needing a gold medal from Blue Eye in the final event to give them a spot in the league. I could see the Cats going in a few different ways after this season. I expect them to do well again in Marbula 1 Season 4 if that happens, and I expect good things from them in the future. They just seem to be a team that needs to find their consistency. If they can find their consistency in league format, they will do extremely well. The Cats are a very good team. Again, another one of those teams that's well rated. I'm going to give them slightly overrated just for Marble League standpoint, but the Cat's Eyes are definitely still a very good Marble League team. Next up are the Gliding Glaciers. I will only be talking about the new team led by Alpine. I will not be taking into consideration the former Gliding Glaciers and the previous team members. The Gliding Glaciers had a very, very strong 2021, managing to get third after Marble Cross in the last event, auto qualifying for 2022. Now, they struggled in 2022, and this is another one of those teams who I don't know how to rate. People have considered them to be worse off than the team they were previously with the previous members. I tend to disagree there. Obviously, the new team came third in the Marble League, which is very impressive. But this team definitely need to find their consistency in the Marble League before I can call them a great franchise. Now, I'm going to go with underrated for the Glaciers because many opinions like the previous team better than the new team, which I disagree with because the new team got third in the Marble League. I'm going to put them around on the same tier as the Bumblebees. The Gliding Glaciers have had success, and who's to say they can't repeat it? Next up are the Green Ducks, who, first of all, I'd just like to say congratulations on an extremely well-hosted 2022 Marble League season. Everyone loved the Duck, especially Greg Woods, and I believe this franchise has a bright future. One of the most incredible starts to a franchise you could have ever asked for, and a very solid performance while hosting the league is enough for me to give the Green Ducks a good team rating. I don't think they're overrated or underrated. I just think the Green Ducks are a very good Marble League team that have a shot at winning it all one day. As do all of these teams, but I just think the Green Ducks have that talent to win. And next up are the Hazers. Oh, Hazers, where did this fall come from? Everything was going so well for your team until Marbula 1 Season 3 Hazy placing 39th individually. What went wrong? What went wrong? Now, I don't disagree with the decision to send Hazy on sabbatical, on leave, whatever you'd like to call it, but that clearly affected your team. After failing to qualify for 2022, you then fail to qualify out of the showdown. I don't think it's time to panic on the Hazers yet, but obviously it's a very long time before they'll compete in anything meaningful. And by anything meaningful, I mean the Marble League. It will have to be 2024. I can only hope Hazy figures out what's wrong and can return to the team, because having a Marble retire after such a bad performance is just not how an athlete wants to end their career. So the Hazers, unfortunately, will have to be placed in overrated after what they did this year, but I don't think they can be considered a bad team yet. They will be going about here. They've had so many great finishes over the years, I can't just knock them down to being an awful team. Next up, we have the Indigo Stars. The Stars qualified for their second Marble League in 2021, began the season pretty strong with a gold medal in the first event, sitting on top of the Marble League standings. You want to keep that position from start to finish. That did not happen for the Stars. They slowly slid down the standings, finishing outside the top 10. The Stars barely missed out on qualification to the Crazy Cat's Eyes and Balls of Chaos in the 2022 qualifiers, missing out on their chance to go back-to-back qualifying in the league. Patterns would have it that they could qualify in 2023, but I'm going to have to see more from the Stars. Just like I said with the Chocolatiers, they'll be going in a similar spot. About there is where I'll have them, because they have less consistency of making the league than the Chocolatiers. Next up, we have the Jungle Jumpers. The Jungle Jumpers are just not a very good team. They just barely made it out of the 2022 showdown, which is a difficult thing to say about a franchise when their greatest achievement this year is celebrating not missing out on the 2023 league automatically and getting a chance just barely to play in the qualifiers. The Jungle Jumpers hold the distinction of being debatably the worst ever Marbula 1 team, scoring only 9 points in Marbula 1 Season 2. The Hornets only scored 8 in Marbula 1 Season 1, but there were less races in Season 1, and the scoring was slightly different. Now, you could argue that there were less teams competing, meaning that the Hornets had less teams to beat to get some points, but we could go back and forth on this. The Jungle Jumpers were awful that year and really have never gotten better than their 7th place finish in the Marble League in 2019, and just everything's gone downhill from there. The Jungle Jumpers are not a very good team. They won't go in the complete bottom tier. Little bit overrated. Actually, no, not really. They're known for being bad, so they'll go about there. Next up are the former Showdown specialists, the Cobalts. The Cobalts are such an interesting team who have so much potential and yet have never been able to show it where it matters. Well, maybe there's one case where it mattered. Marbula 1 Season 3, managing 3rd overall, is very impressive. Royal, also taking 3rd individually, was very impressive. Winning 2 tournaments is also pretty good. They were the Showdown, but still, their 2 wins is what the Cobalts fans will say. But the Cobalts really need to show that talent in the Marble League, and they're not going to have that opportunity for a very long time. Again, like I said, the Cobalts have some promise, so they will get a bit of an underrated tag from me, but they're going to need to show that they can perform on the big stage. And next up, we have the Limers. The Limers are a franchise in turmoil. They cannot find any good results in any of their recent tournaments, and they just aren't ready to compete with the rest of these teams. The Limers are overrated, the Limers are bad, and I'm not going to put them in completely over... Oh, the Limers almost broke my recording by dragging them too far into the bad bin. Anyways, the Limers just aren't a good team, and that's where they'll stay. Next up are Mellow Yellow, the definition of inconsistency on the good side. Mellow Yellow have been on the Marble League podium 3 times. They've also placed 4th, and they have also placed in the bottom quarter of the league 3 times. They've always made the Marble League. They have never missed an edition of the league, and by the stats, Mellow Yellow are the 3rd most successful Marble League team by points. But if you look at a different stat, only Yellow is an above average performer individually in the league. I will leave the link to where I'm getting those stats in the description. It's an incredible spreadsheet kept by many marble enthusiasts. Mellow Yellow are a very good team. They have incredible bursts of form and then fade back into being, well, mellow. It's just if they can find that click and perform well enough to jolt them up the standings. That never really happened in 2022. 2021, they won the whole thing. Mellow Yellow are a very confusing team, and I don't know where they'll go next. They could miss out on the 2023 league through the qualifiers, or they could go back to prime Mellow Yellow form and win the whole thing next year. I don't know where to put them, but the one thing you can be certain of with Mellow Yellow is that they'll either be at the top or at the bottom. There is no mediocrity for this team, despite the name. Mellow Yellow are, again, a very good team who should keep performing well, but we've seen the falls of some good teams, and soon enough they could be up in this Hazers range. Next up, we have the Midnight Wisps. The Midnight Wisps are champions of the Marble League, but we can safely say now that that was a bit of a fluke. The Wisps did very good in 2017 and just have gone downhill from there. 15th in the most recent edition of the league. At least they can say they made the league and weren't last. The Wisps are overrated, and I'll place them about here. Not too much else to say. Next up are the Minty Maniacs. The Minty Maniacs are one of those teams with a big team mentality without the talent to keep that big team mentality up. The Maniacs won a lot of money for charity in 2020, taking home a lot of gold medals, but only coming away with third in the league, and in any other Marble League competition that they've made, they've never placed higher than 12th. And also, it's a shame that the Minty Maniacs weren't in a tournament titled Mania X, or Maniacs if you read it that way, as I did actually the first time. I'm going to go ahead and say the Maniacs are overrated here. They're not a bad team per se. They're not a team to forget about, but they're a team with, like I said, big team mentality, but the talent to match just isn't there. Another team with a, at least formerly, big team mentality were the Oceanics. Now, the Oceanics have had one of the hardest falls from grace I've ever seen in any sport. The Hazers are right behind them, and I really hope the Hazers don't go the same way as the Oceanics. Winning the Winter Special is as far as I believe the Oceanics will ever get. They're definitely in the bottom of teams in the league, and everyone knows it. I wouldn't even call them under or overrated, I'd just call them really bad. The O'Rangers, one of the most popular teams in the league, and for good reason. The O'Rangers are a very, very good team. The O'Rangers have a very long track record of success, notably their famous comeback title win in 2017, their title win in Marbula 1 Season 3, dethroning the Crazy Cat's Eyes, and other good finishes, including second in 2020 after, I don't know if choking the championship would be the right term, but they had the lead for a very long time and didn't keep it. Second is still very respectable. O'Rangers are a very good team. I would be shocked to see them fall. But hey, it's Marble Sports. What could happen? I'm just gonna go for here. Yeah, I don't know if overrated is the right term. I just think it's really difficult to find a team that would go in truly incredibly good and everyone knows it. But I think I know which team will end up actually going there. And it's the Pinkies! No. The Pinkies are the Shock 2022 Marble League champions. What a great year for them. They deserve the title after such great performances. But this really came out of nowhere. Like, the Pinkies have had no prior success, and for them to come out and win the 2022 league, just absolutely unexpected. They used to be in the bottom of the bin when it came to rating teams, and now they are your Marble League champions. Where has this come from? I don't know where to put the Pinkies. I'm gonna go ahead and put them about here. They've shown that they have a lot of talent. Now will they be able to keep it up for another year? The Raspberry Racers, another Fruit Circuit team. You can see Fruit Circuit teams on both ends of this spectrum. Good being the O'Rangers and Mellow Yellow, bad being, well, the Limers. And the Raspberry Racers are quite comfortably a good team to come out of the Fruit Circuit. In fact, I'd say as Marble League champions, they can sometimes be forgotten how good they are. Be forgotten how good they are? That's not the right phrasing. But anyways, The Raspberry Racers, I believe, are very underrated and a very good Marble League team. They'll go about here. Next up are the Rojo Rollers. I don't have to think too much about this one. They did well to make the Marble League in 2021, then finished in 16th with their incredible chance. I don't see them coming back anytime soon. Uh, Nothing against them, but they're not very good. And here they are, the titans of the Marble League and marble sports in general, the Savage Speeders. 2 times champions of the Marble League, champions of the first season of Marbula 1, and they just always seem to be in contention for every single competition in marble sports. Well, team competition. They can't exactly compete in the sand rally as a team. Although, seeing Speedy in the sand rally, that might be pretty cool. The Savage Speeders are comfortably the best Marble League team of all time, and they'll go exactly where they deserve to go, right at the top. Next up are the Shining Swarm, your 2022 silver medalists in the league, and after an incredible surge that almost saw them take the top spot, they held on to the silver medal after getting eliminated in the final event by 1 point thanks to the 5th place curse of Team Galactic. That will be touched on in a future video. But the Shining Swarm had a very decent start in 2017, then went on a 3-year league drought, performed okay in 2021, and in 2022 really showed that they're a team that can compete. I don't exactly know where to put the Swarm. About in the middle, I guess. I think I'd like to put them about in the same spot as the Bumblebees. I'm going to go ahead and move the Bumblebees up to be a little bit overrated. They kind of have that big team energy that I was talking about with the Minty Maniacs, so I think I'll go with that. The Snowballs. The Snowballs are a team held together by their captain. Snowy is a very, very good athlete, just an incredible competitor. The Snowballs would not be where they are without Snowy. Now, the Snowballs as a team have not had much success, just barely made it out of relegation from the 2022 showdown thanks to, again, Snowy. They're not very good, unfortunately. The Snowballs are going to be going down in this bottom tier. Maybe, I don't want to call them underrated. I guess I'll put them about here with the Jumpers. Oops. There we go. Next up, another bad team. This team actually got auto-relegated. The Solar Flares. The Solar Flares are past that new team grace period, won't have a chance to compete until 2023, and will be going in the bad tier. I'm just going to move the Jumpers up again. How about that? There we go. Team Galactic are next up. Team Galact 5th, who didn't actually get 5th this Marble League. They got 3rd and are auto-qualified. So many gold medals. They were like the Minty Maniacs in 2020. And guess where the Minty Maniacs finished? 3rd. If Galactic could have just performed a little better in those events where they finished very poorly, a lot of first places, but also a few 16ths, 15ths, and just really jumping all over the standings. They never really dropped down out of competition, but jumping all over the individual event standings isn't exactly going to lead to the title. Galactic are a good team. I just don't think they're a great team yet. They definitely have a chance to prove me wrong. They'll be going about right next to the Ducks by the cat's eyes. Good team, but we'll have to see what happens with them upcoming. And now for Team Momo. Team Momo are one of the most loved teams in the Marble League without the actual success to back it. Team Momo are usually very average in the Marble Leagues that they make and other competitions. They've also missed a couple of Marble Leagues. Their best Marble League finish is in 2016, where they came in fourth. In 2021, they were in first for a very large chunk of the year, but fell all the way down to sixth by the end, obviously losing to Mellow Yellow, as I talked about earlier. Momo are a good team, but not a great team just yet. They need that title, that success to really cement their place. They're still pretty good, a little overrated for their popularity, but I have nothing against anyone liking Team Momo. They're a very likable team. And up next is Team Primary, where I can talk about the Mo Mary team, which was just a great show of sportsmanship, kind of like the Pittsburgh Philadelphia team, the Steagles, back in the 40s in NFL football. Just a feel good story, no matter how well they did. Team Primary, however, aren't exactly a very good team. Surprisingly, Team Primary's best Marble League finish was this year, in 8th. Team Primary have had some iconic bad moments, including Prim's 40th in Marbula 1 Season 3, Mary's 0 points, and tied for last with Vespa of the Hornets in Marbula 1 Season 1. And they've missed quite a few Marble Leagues, never really had a ton of success. Primary are going to go about here. Actually, I'll go ahead and stick them about on the same tier as the Midnight Wisps. Next up are the Thunderbolts, another team with very minimal actual success, but a team that always seemed to be decent. Now, most recently, they barely made it out of the relegation zone thanks to Thunder's performance in the final race of the Marble League 2022 showdown. What an incredible race that was, by the way. Video coming on that as well. The Thunderbolts, they're really just a middling team. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and stick them, like, maybe slightly overrated right in the middle here. It's going to make putting these last couple teams on a little awkward, but hey. The Thunderbolts are pretty painfully average. Oh, the Turtle Sliders. Oh, the Turtle Sliders. Such a popular team, and I don't know why. Turtles are cool, I guess, but the Turtle Sliders have never had any success in any competition. The Turtle Sliders have never competed in a Marble League, came 14th in Marbula 1 Season 3, and just really have nothing notable to show, not even getting a medal in this year's showdown. Momo stole that from them in the last few events. Unfortunately, the Turtle Sliders are in the worst position you can be in on this list, purely for the fact that they've never been in the Marble League, and their fan base just doesn't compare to the success that the Turtle Sliders have really not had. Next up are the Blackjacks, and this starts the 4 new teams reintroduced or just introduced into the Marble League and Showdown ladder. I will only be judging the returning teams on their recent performances. I will not be going back to Team Plasma and the Blackjacks' histories, just their 2022 performances, because they've come out of retirement and they're a whole new team now. Now, judging the Blackjacks from a blank slate, they looked great in the showdown, taking silver. They really were never in competition for gold, though. Team Plasma just ran away with it. More on them later. The Blackjacks were alright. It remains to be seen how they will compete against the very good teams in qualifying, but I like the future of the Blackjacks. They'll go in the middle, about underrated. Yeah, we'll go with there. The Purple Rockets, the Marble Mania X champions. By the way, a little bit of a tangent here. I liked Marble Mania X. I don't know why that's not more popular of an opinion. It was a really fun tournament. The events were crazy, dangerous, and very surprising that there were no injuries. That just is a testament to how well tested the Mania X events were. The Rockets won that event in not exactly convincing style, but they needed some help from the final event's results, but they did it. They won in the end. That's what matters. Did all right in the showdown, placing in the middle of the pack, taking a gold medal from the solar flares by 0.1 meters in climbing. Probably hurt the solar flares morale a little there going into the final event. That gold pretty much gave the Purple Rockets safety. They had to do, of course, not atrocious in the final race, but they made it, and we'll see what they have in store. They'll be going right about in the middle. Oh boy, what a dominant performance from Team Plasma. 14.6 points per event in the showdown. That's almost a bronze medal for every event worth of points. That's just outstanding. Team Plasma clearly are going to continue their success, right? Right? They looked so good. I don't see any reason why they won't continue their success. They looked absolutely dominant. I'm going to slide the Swarm up because getting a silver in the main league is a bit better than gold in the showdown. But I cannot wait to see Team Plasma against all of the mainstays in the Marble League. It's going to be a very interesting time. And now the Wolf Pack. Good performance in the showdown. Absolutely no prior Marble tournament experience on camera. I mean, of course, there were athletes before this. That's a given. I don't know what to expect out of the Wolfpack. They looked very good in the first video of the Marble League Showdown, which was the first 4 events. Didn't hold on to it, but still finished pretty well. And just to finish off this tier list, I mean, not tier list, alignment chart off right. I'm just going to go ahead and stick them right in the middle. And yeah, there we go. That will do it for my 2023 January tier list of Marble teams in the JML. I'm really excited for what's next, and I can't wait to see all of these teams, well, all of them except the Oceanics, Flares, Cobalts, and Hazers in qualifying. And yeah, I have very little idea who's going to win in 2023 after seeing the Pinkies win in 2022. Anything can happen in marble sports. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long for the first video on this channel, and I hope you stick around for the future. The production value will be definitely upped. I just wanted to make this video to get into the swing of making content like this. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. This has been the Marblecast. Goodbye.